Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, August the 10th, 2022, Wednesday of the 19th week of the year, but also the memorial today of St. Lawrence, the deacon and martyr. St. Lawrence was a deacon of the city of Rome in the 200s, I think it was. He's the patron saint of the city of Rome. Lawrence was in charge, basically, of making sure his deacons were in the early church as they are today, making sure the poor were fed, that orphans were given housing and shelter, widows were given the same thing. When he was asked by Antonius Pius, no, not Antonius Pius, I forget which emperor, or no, he was a magistrate in Rome, to show the riches of the church, he brings forth the poor and the forgotten, the orphan, the widow, and says that these are the church's riches, to which the magistrate in Rome gets extremely angry and condemns him to death. And so his martyrdom was on a grill, supposedly. And the saying is always is that he said to his executioners once that he was done on this side, you can flip me over because I could be finished on the other side. So he becomes a patron saint of cooks and bakers, which is a weird way in which the church often uses patron saints. Anyway, so remember St. Lawrence today. Remember all deacons. Again, next to Stephen, he is one of the more important deacons within the church's history, and for the service that deacons offer to the church itself. And then we hope that in one day the office of deacon will be expanded beyond men and be offered also to women. So there are special readings for Lawrence today because he figures high in the church's tradition and in the church's memory. So the first reading is 2 Corinthians. First reading is from 2 Corinthians today, in which Paul writes about the idea of God loving a cheerful giver, and the sense in which we are to give, and to keep giving what we have and our resources and who we are to one another, because in the giving seeds are sown, and that out of that giving, through the seeds that are sown through giving, there is great wonder and work that happens that reveals again to the world God's love and God's compassion and God's care for us. Again, our role in all of this, our role to be able to share within God's great work of salvation and redemption by giving of ourselves and giving what we have, is emphasized in the work of Lawrence, because that is how Lawrence lived his life once he became a Christian, was in the idea of giving of all that he had, including his life, to be able to give courage to those who have faith, to continue to believe even in times of persecution, oppression, danger, and terror. John's Gospel is a special Gospel for today also, and in John's Gospel, Jesus talks about a seed that, again, if not planted to die, cannot bear the fruit it must to become what it is meant to become. And it's always the idea, again, that our faith moves from death to life, not from life to death. And that every death that we experience, through sadness, through disappointments, through whatever, through even physical death, is not left in meaninglessness, is not left to be just a burden that we continue to carry, a sorrow that we continue to carry, but that out of death always comes life for God. And we have to be able to recognize that. We have to be able to see that. We have to be able to experience that and know that, because through that understanding of death giving way to life, our greatest witness is given as believers in this world. Always be careful, because in this passage also, Jesus talks about, again, unless you hate your life in this world, you can never enjoy the world to come. And we have to take that carefully, because it does not mean to hate this world, to hate creation, to hate what the beauty and the wonder of what God has created is, because it is good, it is very good, and it is the only means by which we come to know who and what God is. It is basically, though, to not take, to not fall into the world's values and the world's and the world's cares and the world's what the world thinks matters most and what the world thinks is most important, because to God it isn't. It is giving of ourselves, it is taking care of the little ones in our midst. And it is basically trying to live our lives as witnesses of all the deaths that we experience, leading to life that gives hope, that gives strength, and that gives courage to us. And may the Lord give you his peace.